Lads, we got another review here, Mario Wonder. I just beat it on stream last night. I wanted to wait a bit before I made the review, just mainly because, want to let it digest a bit. And so we're here today. Let's get right into it. Alright, so Wonder took me about 13 hours to finish. Granted, I did not get the 100% yet, and as of making this review, I'm just about 4 courses off the 100%. And so, basically, the game is great. It's absolutely freaking wacky and wild and random bullshit constantly, and that's like the best thing about the game. It's like a Mario game that just doesn't care, and it just does whatever it wants. Like, literally, there are probably 60, 70 levels in the game, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, but relatively, there's like an ass ton for 2D games. I don't really know like how the 2D to 3D like pipeline is for how many levels there are, but there's a lot. And so with each level, there are 2 Wonder Seeds, or maybe sometimes 3, and maybe sometimes 1. And so the Wonder Seeds are just like stars in Mario games. You know, you get it for completing the level, or you can get an extra one during the level. But in this game, instead of just being like, oh, there's a star, you're like, boom, Mario is now on LSD or some sort of crazy drug, and the stuff just goes wild. So Mario will either turn like super tall, or it will go from like 2D to like top down 2D, or it will go like no gravity, or Mario's going to turn into like a blob, or he's going to turn into like a block, or he's going to turn into like a spiky ball, or along with all that stuff, the like lights are going to turn off, and it's going to be like totally like black, like just you can only see the shadows, or there's going to be like a rhythm song, or there's going to be just like it's wild, or like there's going to be like a bull rush, or things will be singing. It's just like the Wonder Seeds add so much in this game. It's absolutely like batshit insane, which is like the greatest part of the game, because there are so many levels, or at least a nice chunk of levels, but each level is different. Each level is like totally different from each other, totally different new Wonder Seed gimmick, like totally different like enemies. There's a bunch of new abilities. And then on top of all of that, which just is already constantly evolving and like, damn, this is like really fun. I'm not going to get bored of this because it's like very different all the time. Then there are also the badges, which the badges come with a bunch of other abilities as well. There's like passive abilities, and then there's like gameplay abilities, and then there's like expert abilities, and they're categorized in 3 different things. So there's blue, orange, and yellow. Yellow's expert. Orange is kind of like you run faster, or you jump higher, or you can do like a parachute, or you can do like a float in the air when you walk off an edge. And then the normal power-ups that the game have, like the elephant or the fire flower. Then you have 3 different layers that are just like wild and constantly can change. Like there's so much different variation in this game for every single level, along with the a million other characters you can play as. Granted, they don't have different abilities like 3D World, but there is like a Yoshi and there's Nabbit, which those do kind of make it easier because you can like float with them, but you can't pick up power-ups, which is kind of like where the line is drawn for that. But along with, like, the normal levels and everything else, they also have challenge levels. So there's some challenge levels that will give you a new badge, but it kind of like tests your skill with that badge, so you can like kind of learn it. It's like a tutorial level. It's a very good way to like say, here's a badge, try it out, get good at it, and then you can give it to you so people can use it in the world, as well as showing them how to properly use it. Because if you get a badge and you're like, how does this really work? Kind of just testing it and messing with it does get annoying. It's a really, really good way, and Nintendo's always really great at this, at onboarding the player in the game or with new abilities in a way that is very natural and just flows super well. And it's something that I even learned about, like, as a game design student, that it's not easy to do, and some games can really fail at it. But Nintendo does this, I think, perfectly, specifically in this game with the badges, that just is super fun, and it doesn't feel like you're learning how to do it or a tutorial. It just feels like you're playing the game and just, kind of mastering the badge in that very short time period. And I think the game really does push all of that in your face and does it in a way that doesn't overwhelm you. But then it comes to the part where it's kind of unfortunate, and it's how there's not much post-game content. And there's not too many, like, secrets to discover. It kind of lays out everything in front of you. There's still secrets, don't get me wrong. There's still, like, probably 5 to 10 things that you can't find just by, like, playing and going through. You kind of have to look for it. But once I beat the game, I was like, okay, time to get all the gold flags, get all the 10 coins, get all the Wonder Seeds, do everything. And then I'll get, like, a new world or 2 new worlds, right? As of, like, 3D World or some other Mario games. But in this game, you kind of get 1 single level, which I haven't done yet. It could be super difficult, super long, awesome, amazing, worth it. But I was kind of disappointed with the post game, because that's usually really fun in Nintendo games, more so even Mario games, because, like, once again, 3D World, they had, like, 3 secret worlds, I think. Once you got, you know, all the basic stuff, and then finishing every level with every character, you got a world with even more levels, and then you got, like, even more difficult stuff after that. And so that doesn't necessarily make the game worse, because the game, like I said, kind of just gives you everything, like, in a way that they're not hiding anything, because they have so many wacky, just random, crazy, batshit insane ideas. I don't think they want the player to miss that, and so they give it to you right in front of you, and I think that's a good thing, but also maybe a downside for some people, kind of like me. Like, it's not like, damn, this game's going from a 9 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 because of that, but it's just a little disappointing because what we're used to with other Mario games. But hey, the game is great. It's freaking phenomenal. It does basically everything you would want in a Mario game, let alone a 2D Mario game. It feels like a 3D Mario game that they just put on a side view. Like, so much imagination and just variation in the game that you just don't really feel like you're playing a 2D Mario. Like, of course, that's what it is, but you're like, wow, this is just consistently changing that I never feel bored, or I always feel very excited to go to the next area, right? Because even the worlds themselves are just super creative. They're really different. It's not always play levels, go fight Bowser Jr., go to the next world. They have different levels that are like, save this kingdom, or like, go into the mine and help find the Wonder Seed at the bottom of the mine. Like, they kind of have mini stories for each area, and that also, once again, just makes you excited and constantly wondering what you're going to do next. And so it's the game, man. That's it. It's 2D Mario. It does what it wants to do, and it does basically everything perfect in that aspect. The only big complaint I have, aside from the little other things I mentioned, is the bosses. The bosses in the game are a little disappointing. When you compare the bosses to the rest of the game, you're like, wow, it seems like they kind of were limited in those abilities, right? And then whenever you would compare the bosses in Wonder to, like, a different 2D Mario, then they stand out. But as a whole, the bosses do not push the gimmicks and crazy batshit ideas that the levels do themselves, and they're kind of the worst part. And granted, they're not very long, they're super short, they're pretty easy, so, like, it's not even a big deal. But even the final boss, it wasn't bad. It was just, Nintendo does this for every Mario game. There's always this archetype boss, and unfortunately, it was the final boss. And after I completed it, I was like, okay, phase 2, and there wasn't really a phase 2, and I was like, damn, that kind of sucks. But that's okay, because, once again, I didn't get the 100%. There may be something else, but that final level for the 100% may be really cool. Who knows? We'll see. But that's the review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I think it was kind of fast. I wanted to, like, be a little more concise with it, kind of give, more details about things, whatever. But hey, hopefully you liked it. Drop a like, follow. I stream almost every day. I stream everything under the sun practically. And yeah, see you in the next one.